Hey YouTube, hey subscribers, thanks for tuning in. While most of my videos are neutral and intended for everyone, this video is going to be uniquely devoted to women. And the reason is because I came across a video last night that really troubled me. I feel like it's my duty to warn women that this mentality exists in our society, that it is growing, that it is very dangerous, and that it will affect your life in some way if you are not prepared, educated, and aware of it. Ladies, there's a pathogen in our society that is affecting some of our males and young boys, and it's doing it in such a way that is causing great damage and destruction to society, to communities, to families, to relationships, to children. It's malignant narcissism in its purest form, but it's malignant narcissism with action. So a few months ago, I did a video called The Misguided Members of MGTOW. And I used an example of a gentleman who decided to end his wife's life because she wanted to end their marriage. Part of the critiques in that particular video was that I was making a leap or a jump or a connection between this guy and MGTOW, and any real MGTOW would never have actually gotten married. The point I kept trying to argue back and forth in the comment section was, it doesn't matter whether or not one of you guys are married. What matters is the way you think. You all think the same way. But they had a point. I didn't actually just directly go after the principles of MGTOW. I connected a story that's still very highly connectable and highly relevant to the situation, but it didn't quite mesh up. I can take that. Yeah, it didn't mesh up, but this one does. This video clip is a gentleman who basically is going to describe how he views going his own way, what that means for him, and kind of what that looks like. And here's the thing, and I said this in my other video, I said it in the comments of that other video, and I'll say it here again. I have no problem with the MGTOW movement. I have no problem with men wanting to go their own way. I think it's great. I think it's healthy. I think it's nice that people aren't sheeple for once. I think a lot of people have experienced hardships in this life because they just went lockstep with what society told them to do. One foot in front of the other, you do this, then you do that, then you do this, then you do that, then you're a successful adult. So I like that people are starting to think differently about the way our society is set up. Here's where this movement goes wrong, and I said this in my other video. They want to take casualties with them. They want to reach into the normal population and pull out regular people and use them as part of their selfish, entitled little world. So it's not a little world that consists of this man, his hobbies, his interests, his activities, his pursuit of self-development and highest good. That's not what his world consists of. His world consists of some of those things I just listed and the occasional yank of a regular person, woman, into his world for his personal use and abuse until he gets tired of her, until she starts to act like a real person, until the teddy bear starts talking. Then when the teddy bear starts talking, he wants to dispose of the teddy bear and then talk badly about all teddy bears for wanting to be more than teddy bears. And those of you who follow my videos will know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's a very dangerous mindset. It's sick. When I play this clip for you, quite a few of you will hear your past relationships in this man talking. And I want to make this very clear also. This goes across all races, all ages, all cultures of men who are suffering from this mindset. And I want to make this very clear as well. This is not directed toward talking about or generalizing all men, because I know that all men are not like this. Because if all men were actually like this, there would be no society. The entire world would be at war. And I know it seems that way right now, but what I mean is like there would be war down by your local Walgreens. War would be literally everywhere if all men in the world thought this way. So that's how I know for a fact that they all don't. Quite a few of them are very good guys, great men. The only place that I fault them is that they don't speak up more often for fear of the brotherhood. They keep quiet, they live their lives, they're good to their families, they love their wives and children, they love them both, and they're just good people, they're good to people, and they keep quiet. But I was thinking about this right before I started making this video. I think a lot of good guys also don't know. They don't know, because why would they? Why would they be on the internet looking up this type of information or even anything closely related to it? So why would they even be on YouTube looking up that type of information if they're happy people? They're happy, well-adjusted, balanced people. So they're not going to be out there seeking this info. So I don't think they know. I don't think they hang out with guys like this. I think they probably have a natural disgust or a natural disinterest in men like this. So I do think good men just separate from these types of guys. And so they don't know. They don't know how deep it goes. They don't know how deep the pathology goes. You'll hear in the very beginning of his video clip that he's very happy that this movement has grown over the past couple of years. That fills him with joy because he's so short-sighted. He cannot see how having a society full of men that think like this will ultimately come to his doorstep. Having a society full of men who think life is all about me and my pleasure, my way and my way only existing and living by their own rules. Well, what that means is if one of their rules is they want something that you have, they're going to come take it because they live by their code, their rules, their life, their way. So eventually, they're not going to just hold this mindset to women only. They're not going to apply it to women only. They're going to start off with women because they're the easiest target. And then once they've mastered that with women, they're going to branch out and see where else their entitlement can take them. Where else can entitlement take me in this life? And eventually it's going to take it right to your front door. That's what it's going to take you to because this is the way all criminals think also. My life, my way, my happiness, no one else's, no one else matters. I don't care what you think of my character. I don't care what you think of my integrity or me as a person. Only I matter. And so if only I matter, then I don't care what I do to you. And so that's why this is a problem. I would have no problem if these guys just said, I don't want to deal with relationships. I don't want to be married. I don't want to be in any type of commitment like that. That's fine. All I'm saying is that you can't also then subsequently attempt to drag the rest of society down with you. Go live a monk lifestyle. A lot of monks live that lifestyle and they're very happy. They're very zen. Go live that lifestyle. But why do you want to corrupt impressionable minds? And why do you want to drag the rest of society down with you? That's what I don't understand. And that's what I have a problem with. So with no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play his clip. Then I'm going to come back and break down some of these talking points from his video. And then my biggest request of you is that you share this with any young woman in your life, your daughter, your sisters, your aunts. And I said young woman, but I really meant any woman, period. But I guess I target youth because they're getting ready to go out into this world that this man is helping create. Him and a whole lot of other guys that sit on YouTube all day and pump out content, 3 or 4 videos a day about this type of stuff in the effort to recruit and corrupt men who might still be trying to decide who they are. And then they pick up on this, they like it, there's a community there, they can high five and slap each other on the butt. And then now you have your daughters and your young girls attempting to enter into this world that they might not have a clue about. But it doesn't go for just young women either. This also applies to older women who have been through the ringer with these types of men and don't understand where it's coming from. Why does he hate me so much? Why is he so mean to me? This is where it's coming from. It's rooted in these beliefs. So when I make these videos, I often talk about trying to get at the root of someone's belief, trying to look at what they write on social media. If they're very active on comment boards and things like that, you have got to see how they think. That is more important than anything else. You might have a checklist, you might not, but if you have a checklist, at the very top of that checklist needs to be, how does he think? What does he think about women? What does he think about family? What does he think about those things? Because what I've found about these types of men is they're not very good about lying about it on the spot. If they have some time to think about it, then they can craft up a pretty good answer that sounds pretty good to the ears, but still shouldn't really sit right in your soul. But they're not very good about lying about it on the spot. They're very proud of this mentality. They like to brag about it. They like to put it out there any opportunity that they get. They like to talk about it because they think it's great. They think they've discovered like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And really all they've discovered is a path to destruction. So I said I was going to play that clip about 2 minutes ago. Now I'll play it for real. I'll stop and I'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Block Ram 313 back at it again because you know this is therapeutic, man. Back again with another video and another therapy session. Thank you for joining me. The title of this video is What It Means to Go My Own Way. The MRA, Men's Rights Movement. MGTOW, if more, the red pill, has grown exponentially since I first started making videos almost 5 years ago. Back then, there was probably less than 50 channels with such content. Now there are literally thousands. Men are now waking up and refusing to bow down to the gynocracy that we have here in the Western world, which has spread its tentacles throughout the whole globe. But exactly what does it mean to go your own way? Now, of course, this is highly subjective. For going your way or going your own way is an individual and personal quest. For me, this means that I live my social life, at least, on my terms and my terms alone. When it comes to the female, if I choose to deal with one at all, it will be, it has to be, it must be always from a position of strength and never weakness. My way only. How I want to deal, what I want to do. I never seek and work to make or keep her happy. Her happiness should be making me happy. That is the design. However, we know that these modern day thought bots have been reprogrammed by the culture. Regardless of that, I'm to the point where I don't need her validation whatsoever. I care not what she thinks of me. Her opinion of my personhood and character means absolutely nothing to me. The moment it does, I then cease to be able to call myself a man.
And he continues on and on after that, going deeper into his philosophy. I'll link the video if you are interested in watching the whole thing. However, I personally couldn't stomach it. So let's go ahead and break down what's wrong with this, just those first couple of minutes. What's actually wrong with the way this man thinks, with the way that he's training other men to think. Let's really get into the problem here. So it starts off with him going into his definition of going his own way means his way and his way only. You may have missed this part, but he goes, well, when it comes to my social life, at least. So we've covered in many different videos on this channel how they are very selective in their treatment of their targets. So they are capable of good behavior and good treatment in certain environments like work, but when it comes to their relationships and their social situations and their family and personal lives, suddenly it's like they don't understand. Suddenly the switch goes off. Suddenly you're no longer making sense when they know how to act at work, basically. So I don't know if you caught that, but go back and listen if you missed it. So his way only. He said operating from a position of strength, never weakness. So what this tends to look like in these relationships is any and all words coming from the woman. If he listens to her talk, then that's weakness. That's considered a weakness. Listening to your woman, hearing your woman out is considered a weakness. And I just did a video called Words Don't Work with Narcissists. They don't, because in this particular case, it would be considered weak. And then there are other ways that they demonstrate this strength, like never honoring any of your preferences, like never honoring or even hearing out any of your opinions, not even being willing to have a discussion, because you must understand that having a discussion with a woman is considered a sign of weakness to these types of men. So that's why you can't get the conversations going. That's why you can't get closure. That's why you're not respected, because to respect you is to show weakness in these men's mind. Let's keep going. He said he will never seek and never work to make or keep her happy. I just never seek and never work to make and keep her happy, because her happiness should be making him happy. So her joy in life is to please him and make him happy. I can't make this stuff up, y'all. Just hearing that, like, my God, how many of you have experienced that in some form or fashion and not deserving of it? And that, from a woman's standpoint, just switching gears really quick, To be a woman going through this is so confusing because what these men fail to realize is that we actually think really highly of our men. We love our men. We adore our men. So when our man, who we love and adore, turns around and refuses to do anything nice for us, because that would be a sign of weakness, that he refuses to seek or even try to make you happy in any way, because that's a sign of weakness. And you're just sitting here thinking, what did I do to him? What did I do? You review it. What did I say? You might even have asked those questions before. What happened? What did I do to you? What is it something that I said? Is it something that I'm doing? It's none of those things. It's the fact that you're a woman. That's the problem. The problem is you're a female and he's sick. So in his sick mind, being nice to you is a sign of weakness. So he won't do it. He refuses. It has to be his way. The moment that he does something nice for you is the moment in his mind that he's lost. So in order for him to maintain that power position, he has to be unkind to you at all times because that's the only way he wins in his mind. Oh, let's keep going. He moves on to say that he cares not what she thinks of him or his character or anything like that. Long time ago, I did a video called Narcissists Have a Cavalier Disregard for Their Own Reputation. So they do not care. They don't care about the legacy that they're living. They don't care about the world that they're creating because, and this came from another narcissist channel, he said basically that the world is in decline, which I can't necessarily argue with. But the problem with that belief is that in his mind, he basically does whatever he wants to do because why bother fixing it? Because it's already headed downhill anyway. So he helps make the problem worse by doing bad things in the world or doing whatever without fear or regard of the consequences because the world is already in shambles. And it's the most broken logic I've ever seen. And these men want to be leaders. They want to be respected. Leaders would fix it. Leaders would find a way to fix it. They would rally together, and instead of helping destroy it, that's like your house catching fire, and instead of you running to grab water, you go and grab some gasoline and you just help burn it down. You don't even try to rescue anything inside. You just say, oh, well, it's already burning, so let me help it burn down to the ground. That's what that's like. That's the kind of logic you guys are operating off of. And you know what else? What other logic you're operating off of? Broken logic? You're operating off the broken logic that you're not going to live very long. So I also think these men don't think they're going to live very long. And they probably won't if they keep this up. But you're making the assumption you won't live very long. What if you live well into your 90s, hun? Late 90s. That means you got to deal with this. You've got to deal with what you've made for a long time. You don't know how long you'll be here. You don't know what medical advancements might come along and extend life, or what we might discover about health and how to take care of our health and extend life. You might be here for a long time. And this is the world you want to create, a world where you don't know how long you're going to be in it. This is what I want you guys to think about. And then let's see here. He finishes up with, the moment he cares, he's no longer a man. So just pause for a moment and think about how many ways and in what kinds of ways that has shown up in your life. And to any men listening to this, how many of you are divorced now? How many of you have lost good women because you thought this way? Here's my question to you. Is it working for you? Is this lifestyle, is this mentality actually getting you what you want? Because the truth is you really want women. You still want women. You always will. You will always want women. You're just mad that you can't have women on your terms. And the reason you can't have women on your terms is because your terms suck. They suck. If we had to work for you like employer to employee, we would quit. If you are a boss or a manager or a supervisor or a leader, how many of your employees have quit under you? What is your turnover rate? You have got to understand that this is not a male-female thing. This is just a how you treat people thing. This is just a how you treat a human being thing. There are rules to it, just like there are laws of gravity, forces of nature, laws and rules of physics. There are laws and rules of how you treat people. People work in a certain way. They respond to certain things and they don't respond to other things. Certain actions, which are fueled by beliefs, will always lead to certain consequences, like your woman leaving you. Like, it's just mind-blowing to me that the comfort level these men have in feeling like they can treat another human being this way. It's mind-blowing to me because You got to know that this doesn't work. You've got to know that this isn't healthy. The healthy version of what you guys are trying to accomplish would basically just be a guy who focuses on his life. He has his own place. He lives alone. He probably travels the world. Maybe he opens a business or 2 or 3. He runs them. He takes great pleasure and enjoyment in running his businesses. He doesn't date. He actively, purposely does not date because he rejects the ideologies of what he believes are the Western civilization and culture. So for that reason, he chooses not to date. So he doesn't entertain the company of any woman. He's celibate. He's abstinent. He focuses all his energy and all his chi on something else. And he creates. Maybe he's an artist. Maybe he makes things. He's just a self-actualized person who chooses to live a solitary lifestyle that does not harm others. I don't understand where the harming others comes in. Part of the problem is you guys don't see it as harming others. You don't see it as a problem. So you do it, but the question that I always have to bring up is, what if this was your mom? What if a guy like you was trying to date your mom and he decided that your mom was perfect for the next 3 months of his life and he was going to do whatever it took to keep your mom in his life for the next 3 months. But as soon as she was like, well, I'm kind of older and, I'd really like to be married again, he just discards her like trash because that's not where he is in his life. He's going his own way. But for those 3 months, she was a lot of fun. What would you do to that guy? What happens when your daughter reaches dating age and some young guy has been listening to your videos and decides that your daughter's the perfect target for the next 6 months of his life and that he's just going to use her, he's going to string her along, and he's going to do whatever it takes to keep her in his life for the time frame that he desires to have her there? And then as soon as he's done with her, he's going to discard her and get rid of her and just move on to the next one or take a break or whatever. Like, y'all cannot approach life like this. It's not working, guys. Look at our society. It's not working. Whoever this man is, you have a platform, and this is what you choose to do with your platform. You choose to use it to corrupt and poison society. Poison it. You choose to use this platform to make the world worse for your own people and for everybody else. It makes no sense. And like I stated earlier in the video, you guys have a tough time isolating things. So you're going to spread this mentality out across your whole life. And some of the people that you're reaching are more corruptible or more susceptible to corruption than others. And they're going to hear it and they're going to take it to the extreme. And eventually, because we're all stuck on the same planet, that extreme is going to reach your doorstep. It is. Look at the schools. Look at the state of the schools. Look at the way the children act in school. It's been getting progressively worse over the years. Look at how they treat their parents. Look at how their parents treat them. Look at the state of our society. And this is what you want to do? You want to actually make it worse? I just can't process it. I really can't. So I'll stop there because this video is getting lengthy. Make sure that any woman within earshot, or any woman, but especially the young ones who don't know, who are still naive, they have to know that it's out here. They also have to know that there are good men out here as well. But your job is to teach them what that looks like. And if you don't know how to do that, just start with this video and say, a good guy would basically be the opposite of all these things. You want to look for someone who does not think this way. And they're not going to walk up to you and say, hey, I just want to use you for the next 4 months or so of my life. And I kind of see you as an object, not really a real person. So that's going to be very easy for me, but it's going to be kind of hard for you. So I just want to see if you're okay with that. No, these guys have to craft strategies and game plans in order to secure the women that they want and use her for their purposes until they are satisfied and have had enough. And it kind of makes you a coward because you won't just state your intentions flat out and let her choose. You have to lie and scheme and strategize and then blame the woman for falling for the lies, for crafty lies. But that's why my channel's here. My channel's here to dwindle your supply down to nothingness. Like, I want it to go down generationally. I want them to remember this and teach their children so they'll recognize you at first sight. And so you won't have anyone to run this little program on. And you'll have no choice but either to decide you want to get healthy or go your own way. And you'll be your own little community. your own little pod of people, and you all can be happy together. My goal is your happiness, believe it or not. I actually want you guys to be happy. I just want y'all to leave everyone else alone in the process. Looking forward to your thoughts and your comments, everyone. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend, and I grant you the permission to exist. Bye-bye.